Takže toto je Stredný východ.
And there are several countries.
Je tu niekoľko krajín.
I think Iraq, Iran, and what's that, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. And they all access this water channel.
A všetci majú prístup k takému vodnému kanálu.
And there are a lot of oil tanks here.
When you say oil, do you mean like rope? Like no. It's like it's like gasoline.
Yes, the entire world buys with the Middle East.
A oni tam majú veľké ropné vlastne zdroje.
And a lot of the tanks, oil tanks, have to go through this water pathway.
A mnoho tých vlastne takých tých ropných kanálov musí ísť cez túto rieku alebo cez kanál tej vody.
And I think a few months back,
myslím, že pred pár mesiacmi,
an Iran missile shut down a US drone.
No, this is okay, so
You see, it's also difficult for me.
missile is what is missile?
It's like a bomb.
Čiže iránska taká nejaká družica alebo raketa, and what did they do? Zasiahla?
They shot down a US drone. A drone is like this mini airplane.
Malinké lietadlo Spojených štátov.
But that one had no human being in it.
Neboli tam žiadni ľudia.
And the US was very angry.
A Spojené štáty sa veľmi nahnevali.
And they said this was the Iran, they did it on purpose.
A povedali, to urobili na schvál.
And they were accusing Iran.
A vlastne obviňovali Irán zo všeličoho.
And the Iran came and said, yes, it was us.
A potom Irán povedal, áno, my sme to urobili.
But the problem was
Problém bol v tom,
that the drone
že to lietadielko
had crossed the borders.
Prekročil hranicu.
So this is a waterway.
Toto je vlastne, kaďaľ tečie tá rieka.
And there's a border in there.
A cez ňu ide hranica.
And there's Iranian waters here.
A toto je vlastne iránska voda.
And apparently the drone flew into Iranian territory.
Okay, so it was US. Okay, čiže to americké lietadlo ako keby vošlo do toho teritoria Iránu.
And Iran said that they sent several notes, like several notifications.
A Irán povedal, že poslali niekoľko upozornení.
And said leave our territory.
A povedali, aby odtiaľ odišli.
But this call was not heeded.
Ale oni nepočúvali to volanie.
And so they shut it down.
A tak ho oni vlastne zostrelili.
Trump was really angry and said this didn't happen.
A Trump sa veľmi nahneval a povedal, že toto sa
It
nestalo.
was in US waters.
To bola hranica Spojených štátov.
And he wanted to strike Iran military.
A chcel vlastne napadnúť Irán.
But then shortly before he calls the maneuver off again. He calls the military action off again.
Aha, potom vlastne odvolal tú ten útok na nich.
And also this year in this pathway,
A tiež tento rok po tejto ceste
several oil tankers were attacked.
bolo napadnutých niekoľko tých ropných tankerov.
I'm not sure from what countries,
Neviem presne z ktorých krajín.
but I think one was of Norway,
Myslím, že jedna bola z Norska.
one of the US or something. It was several countries affected
Bolo to niekoľko krajín.
because there was a war already once. I think it was before 1989.
Čiže bola určitá vojna pred 89.
Where the United States had war with Iran.
Kde Spojené štáty boli vo vojne s Iránom.
There was a tanker war here. It's called the tanker war.
Nazýva sa to tankovor, neviem.
Vojna
tankov.
Is a huge ship with a lot of oil.
Vlastne je vojna tankerov.
And many pass here daily.
A mnohé taďalto denne prechádzajú.
And feed the entire world with oil.
A v podstate zásobujú celý svet tou ropou.
So back in this history,
V týchto dejinách
there was already once war between the United States and Iran here.
už tu raz bola vojna medzi Spojenými štátmi a Iránom.
It first was a proxy war, but it ended up being a hot war between United States and Iran as well.
Najprv to bola taká zástupná vojna, ale stala sa z nej potom skutočná vojna medzi Iránom a Spojenými štátami.
And people who are seeing what is happening now
Ľudia, ktorí videli, čo sa deje,
are saying it's a repetition of what has happened back then.
hovorili, že to je opakovanie toho, čo sa už stalo.
The problem is that Iran
Problém je, že Irán
doesn't have much allies.
nemá príliš veľa spojencov.
They're allies of Russia,
Oni sú spojení s Ruskom,
but its neighbors, they're not good with Iran.
ale tých susedov nemá nejak tak spojení. Nie s nimi spojení.
Iraq and Saudi Arabia.
Irak, Saudská Arábia.
And also the United States is not on good terms with Iran.
Tiež Spojené štáty nie sú v dobrých vzťahoch s Iránom.
So what happened was Obama accomplished a huge deal.
Čiže čo sa stalo bolo, že Obama dosiahol veľkú takú dohodu.
The nuclear treaty with Iran.
Nukleárnu dohodu s Iránom.
After all the year of the United States in this time period,
zo všetkých of all the
years,
zo všetkých rokov toho napätia v tomto čase,
and then all the years of tension in this time
a
period,
zo všetkých rokov napätia v tomto čase,
in 2015, finally Obama was the one accomplishing a nuclear deal with Iran.
V 2015 Obama konečne bol ten, ktorý dosiahol tú nukleárnu dohodu s nimi.
Which would solve the tension in this area a little bit.
Ktorá vlastne trošku vyrieša to napätie v tejto oblasti.
It was quite some accomplishment.
A to bol veľký taký to, čo dosiahli.
One of the first things Trump does when he becomes president
Prvú z vecí, ktorú urobil Trump, keď sa stal prezidentom,
is to get out of this nuclear deal again.
Bolo to, že sa chce dostať von z tejto nukleárnej dohody.
And since that time, the tensions here have started again.
A odtedy to napätie tu zase začalo.
And United States has put sanctions, I think, on Iran again.
Spojené štáty dali sankcie znova na Irán.
And the problem is
Problém je,
that Iran has not many other possibilities.
Že Irán nemá príliš veľa ďalších možností.
Which means when sanctions are put on them,
to znamená, že keď sú na nich dané sankcie,
they can't really function in the world market.
Oni nemôžu veľmi dobre fungovať na celosvetovom trhu.
And they don't have anything really to fight these sanctions and have a counterweight pressure.
A oni vlastne nemajú nič, čím by mohli ako keby tak bojovať proti vlastne Amerike alebo sa nejak tak brániť.
The only threat they have
jedinú hrozbu, ktorú majú,
is to cause troubles in this area.
Je spôsobať problémy v tejto oblasti.
What do you call it? Take hostage those tankers. Like capture these tankers.
Vlastne ako keby zmocniť sa týchto tankerov.
And yeah, cause fear here.
A spôsobovať tu strach.
And that's exactly what they're doing again.
A to je presne to, čo robia.
Several tankers were attacked.
Niekoľko tankerov bolo
The
napadnutých.
drone was shut down.
Zavreli drone.
The drone, like this airplane without a human being.
Aha, zostrelili to lietadlo.
And Iran is threatening to increase their nuclear material.
A Irán hrozí, že zvýši svoj nukleárny materiál.
Which has caused a lot of fear all over the world.
Čo spôsobilo veľa strachu vo svete.
So that has happening in the last months and the last weeks.
To sa dialo v posledných mesiacoch a týždňoch.
And it's not sure how this continues.
Nevieme, ako toto bude pokračovať.
It seems like war could break out.
To vyzerá, ako keby sa mohla začať vojna.
And of course this is also a proxy war between America and Russia actually.
Samozrejme, toto je zástupná vojna medzi Amerikou a Ruskom.
So that has been going on with these tankers.
Čiže toto sa vlastne dialo tam s tými tankermi.
Then you have the Ukraine.
Potom máme Ukrajinu.
Which I already shared. I don't have more information because I wasn't able to read the articles myself.
Nemám o tom veľa informácií, lebo som nebola schopná si prečítať tie články zatiaľ.
Due to traveling and other things I had to read just the headlines.
Pretože som veľa cestovala.
And of course we have the impeachment going on now.
A vlastne deje sa ten pokus o zosadenie Trumpa.
This year, for example, what I think is interesting.
To, čo si myslím, že je zaujímavé tento rok,
is that next year in America,
je, že na budúci rok v Amerike
there will be a census. A census is that you count how many people live in a country.
bude sčítanie ľudu.
And this year,
Tento rok
you have to prepare for the census of next year.
sa vlastne treba pripraviť na to sčítanie.
And Trump or his people
A Trump a ľudia s ním
wanted to add the question of nationality.
Chceli tam pridať aj tú otázku ohľadne národnosti.
If the people who fill out the paper are citizens of the United States.
Like only those who are citizens can fill the paper.
No, everyone can fill the paper,
Okay.
but they have to make a cross or not if they're US citizen.
Musia tam proste zaznačiť, či sú alebo nie sú občania Ameriky.
So you would think this is a similar question,
Si pomyslíte, že
simple question.
to je jednoduchá otázka.
But the problem is, if you ask if you're a US citizen or not,
Ak sa pýtate, či niekto je alebo nie je občan Ameriky,
many of the illegal immigrants in America
mnoho ilegálnych imigrantov v Amerike
will not fill out this censorship.
nevyplňa toto sčítanie ľudu.
And the problem is, if that doesn't happen,
Ak to sa nestane,
the census is done every 10 years.
každých 10 rokov sa robí toto sčítanie.
And based on this census,
Na základe toho
you will have gerrymandering. I will explain it.
bude určité,
So gerrymandering
bude to vysvetliť, čo to znamená.
is the drawing of borders.
Je vlastne kreslenie hraníc.
In America you have states,
V Amerike máme Spojené štáty,
and these states have representatives in the government, in the Congress.
teda štáty máme. A tie štáty majú reprezentantov vo vláde.
But these representatives
Títo reprezentanti
need to be voted by the people.
sú volení ľuďmi.
So let's say if a state has 5 representatives in the Congress,
Čiže ak štát má 5 reprezentantov v kongrese,
then you will have to have 5 districts
tak musíte mať 5 distriktov,
who can vote.
ktoré môžu voliť.
So in gerrymandering
Čiže toto slovo
is the drawing of the borders of these districts. Thank
je,
you.
že sa vlastne kreslia hranice týchto distriktov.
And based upon the population of every district,
Na základe populácie každého distriktu
these districts will be drawn.
Sa rozkreslia, like it means how many districts it will have? Or...
No, the quantity is there.
To množstvo je tam.
The problem is just in every district should be about the same amount of people.
V každom distrikte by malo byť približne rovnaké množstvo ľudí.
So that the votes will be fair.
Aby boli spravodlivé tie voľby.
So when you have here a lot of illegals,
Čiže keď tu máme veľa ilegálnych imigrantov,
and here you don't,
a tu nie,
but all the illegals don't fill out the censorship,
ale vlastne tí imigranti nevyplnia to ščítanie,
means you don't know how many people actually live here.
to znamená, že nevieme, koľko ľudí tam vlastne býva.
And the borders of those districts
A hranice tých distriktov
will be changed.
budú zmenené.
You won't be able to go into all the details because it's quite complicated.
Nebudeme môcť ísť do všetkých detailov, lebo je to dosť
We
komplikované.
spent a lot of time in Switzerland dealing with this.
S týmto sme strávili vo Švajčiarsku veľa času,
But basically,
ale v podstate,
what happens here is
čo sa tu deje je,
that when you add simple questions like that,
že keď pridáte takéto jednoduché otázky,
it will cause that most likely it will cause that the districts will be created in a way
pravdepodobne to spôsobí to, že tieto distrikty budú vytvorené
that
spôsobom,
it will benefit the Republican Party.
že to bude vlastne ako keby v prospech tej republikánskej strany.
That means they have stronger votes,
Čiže majú viac hlasov,
which means they have stronger representatives in the Congress
A majú
and
viac-
government,
majú viac reprezentantov v kongrese a vo vláde.
which means the government will be more Republican.
A teda vláda bude viac republikánska.
And the interesting thing is
Zaujímavá vec je,
that in the Nazi time period,
že v čase nacizmu,
shortly before the Second World War,
krátko po druhej svetovej vojne,
there was also a census,
tiež bolo ščítanie.
and Hitler added the question of heritage.
A Hitler pridal tú otázku toho heritage, you mean like?
Yeah, where the people come from.
Toho, že odkiaľ ľudia pochádzajú.
Were they Jews or not?
Či sú Židia alebo nie.
So the census served for Hitler.
Takže to ščítanie slúžilo Hitlerovi.
To gather a lot of information.
Aby zhromaždil veľa informácií.
Who was fitting his race ideas and who wasn't.
Kto vlastne vyhovoval tým jeho požiadavkám rasovým a kto nie.
And I suggest the census happening next year.
A ja hovorím, že ten census, ktorý sa deje na budúci rok,
will be paralleling that.
Je v paralele s tým.
And we're starting already to see aspects of that.
A začíname vidieť aspekty toho.
So that is something I've been seeing this year.
To je niečo, čo som videla tento rok.
And also, of course, the treatment of the refugees.
Tiež je to zaobchádzanie s migrantami.
And the camps that are being put in.
A tiež tie tábory, do ktorých sú daní.
They are like concentration camps.
Je to tam ako v koncentračných táboroch.
Something else. I don't remember too much, to be honest.
I wanted to ask about this because can people vote if they are illegal immigrants? They can't vote anyway, no? So why would it matter if they are not counted?
The problem is that the population will counterweight. It's hard to explain it. When the illegals do not put in their census that they say I exist, it means there won't be an accurate population in the district, which means the district will be changed. And often where illegals live are democratic areas, meaning democratic areas will lose funding and power in government issues.
Čiže vlastne, ak sa títo nelegálni migranti k tomu nepriznajú, že tam vlastne sú, tak sa zmenia hranice tých distriktov a tieto oblasti, kde žijú títo migranti najviac, tak sú vlastne tie demokratické strany. A keď sa tie hranice poposúvajú, tak oni vlastne stratia moc. Tá demokratická strana stratí na moci.
It's like if there is a family,
napríklad keď je nejaká rodina
with 10 people,
s 10 ľuďmi,
and there is a family with 5 people,
a potom s 5,
then the state or the people looking after these families,
štát, ktorý vlastne pozerá na tieto rodiny,
say, okay, here's 10, here's 5.
Povedia, tu je 10, tu je 5.
The people with 10, the family with 10 people need more food and more money than the family with 5.
Tí, čo majú 10 detí alebo 10 ľudí, potrebujú viac jedla, viac peňazí ako tí, čo majú 5.
To make sure that both are taken care of.
Aby sme sa uistili, že o všetkých sa dobre stará.
The problem is now,
problém je,
is the family with 10
ak tá rodina s 10
actually is hiding 4 people.
4 ľudí neprizná
And would only say we have 6 people.
A povedia, máme 6 ľudí.
But in reality there are 10.
A v skutočnosti ich je 5.
So the state looking after the families now,
štát dávajúc pozor na tie rodiny,
just sees there's a family with 6 and a family with 5.
Vidí, že je tam rodina s 5 a rodina so 6.
So the family with 6 will only receive funds and support for 6 people.
Takže tá rodina s tými 5 dostane podporu pre 5 a tá rodina so 6 pre 6.
But it's actually in need of 10.
A potrebuje 10.
Support for 10.
Podporu pre 10.
This is the issue and the problem here.
To je podobný problém ako tu.
People who have to fill out if they are a US citizen or not.
Tí ľudia, ktorí by mali vyplniť, či sú občanmi alebo nie,
most likely they won't show up and say, hey, I'm here.
Pravdepodobne sa neukážu a nepovedia, že hej, som tu.
Which means those districts will lose a lot of funds.
Čiže tieto distrikty stratia mnoho podpory finančnej
and government support.
A vládnej podpory.
And then you will see a lot of imbalance.
A potom uvidíte veľa nerovnováhy.
It has actually quite an impact.
A to bude mať vplyv a dopad.
Is that one correct? Okay. So I think we'll continue now with the issue of equality.
Budeme pokračovať s tou témou rovnosti.
So at the camp meeting,
na camp meetingu.
Sister Tess has already done the lines of restoration.
Sestra Tess robila líniu obnovy.
So I strongly suggest to watch that one.
Takže toto by som vám veľmi odporúčal si pozrieť.
And we'll follow up with some of the questions.
A budeme pokračovať s nejakými otázkami.
But for that, I would like to remind us,
Chcela by som vám pripomenúť,
where are we coming from and where are we going?
odkiaľ prichádzame a kam ideme.
Z Kanánu do Kanánu.
What does she say?
From Canaan to Canaan.
We go from Canaan to Canaan,
Ideme z Kanánu do Kanánu.
or in the, I suggest in this case here, we come from Eden, we go to Eden.
V tomto prípade ideme z Edenu a ideme do Edenu.
In Eden existed their sin.
Bol v Edene hriech?
No sin.
Nebol.
So Eden,
Eden?
Eden.
Eden.
Beginning and the end.
Začiatok a koniec.
No sin.
Žiaden hriech.
That means
To znamená,
when we return to Eden,
keď sa vrátime do Edenu,
which is where?
to je kde?
Where's the new Eden
Kde je ten nový Eden?
for us?
Pre
Heaven.
nás. To je nebo.
One question.
Jedna otázka.
Often we say we shouldn't sin and we won't sin anymore,
Častokrát hovoríme, nemali by sme hrešiť a nebudeme hrešiť.
and this will be in heaven.
Tak toto bude v nebi.
And I say amen to that.
A ja hovorím amen,
It's just going to be in heaven.
to bude v nebi.
But then I will ask you a question.
Ale spýtam sa vás otázku.
I will ask you, when does heaven start?
Kedy začína nebo?
What does Ellen White say?
Čo hovorí Ellen Whiteová?
When does heaven start?
Kde začína nebo?
Kráľovství je medzi nami.
Kingdom of God is among us.
Yes, that's correct. In Ellen White's words, she says heaven starts here on this earth.
V slovách Ellen Whiteovej, podľa jej slov sa píše, nebo začína tu na zemi.
So when people, whenever they put it in the future,
Kamkoľvek to dávajú do budúcnosti tí ľudia,
that we shouldn't sin and such things.
že by sme nemali hrešiť,
I'm trying to find it. Then you can tell them that heaven is starting actually on this earth.
môžete im povedať, že nebo začína tu.
There's been in the past an argument
V minulosti bol argument,
that that the church triumphant
že cirkev víťazná
is only in heaven.
je len v nebi.
And I suggest again, where does heaven start?
A ja znova poviem, kde začína nebo.
It starts here on earth, so the church triumphant starts here on earth.
Začína to na zemi a tak aj cirkev víťazná.
I might not be able to find it that fast.
Možno to tak rýchlo nenájdem.
I'm not sure of the exact words.
Nie som si istá o tých presných slovách.
We can look at the reference here. So heaven starts here, meaning Eden starts here.
Nebo začína na zemi, Eden začína na zemi.
I found it.
Už som to našla.
It's Desire of Ages,
Je to tužba vekov.
page 331, 332.
331, 332.
Or it's in the compilation, the book Heaven, page 170.
You don't have that.
Oh, okay. So Desire of Ages, page 331, 332.
Takže tužba vekov 331 a 2.
As through Jesus we enter into rest, heaven begins here.
Skrze Ježiša vchádzame v pokoj, nebo začína tu.
Okay. That was, I'm not going to read the entire paragraph, I think that was enough. So whatever was in Eden,
Čokoľvek bolo v Edene,
we have to start it here as well.
musíme s tým začať tu na zemi.
Ellen White calls it also from Eden to Eden restored.
Ellen Whiteová to aj nazýva od Edenu po Eden obnovený.
So there was no sin here,
Nebol hriech tu
means there will be no sin here.
a nebude žiaden hriech tu.
So in terms of equality,
Čo sa týka rovnosti,
let's check out the equality or the relationship of Adam and Eve in Eden.
poďme sa pozrieť, aký bol vzťah Adama a Evy v Edene.
Let's start in Genesis 1 verse 26.
Začneme z Genesis 1:26.
Do you want to read 26, 27?
26 a 27. A Boh riekol, učiňme človeka na svoj obraz a podľa svojej podoby. A nech vládnu nad morskými rybami a nad nebeským vtáctvom a nad hovedami a nad celou zemou a nad každým plázom, ktorý sa plazí na zemi. A Boh stvoril človeka na svoj obraz, aby na obraz Boží ho stvoril, mužské a ženské pohlavie ich stvoril.
In verse 28.
A 28. A Boh ich požehnal a Boh im riekol, ploďte a množte sa a naplňte zem a podmaňte si ju a vládnite nad morskými rybami a nad nebeským vtáctvom i nad každým živým tvorom, ktorý sa plazí na zemi.
Okay, so here's the creation of man,
Takže tu je stvorenie človeka
and his job function is given him.
a je mu daná úloha, ktorú má plniť.
Do we see any difference between Adam and Eve?
Vidíme tu nejaký rozdiel medzi Adamom a Evou?
Do they have any different job function?
Majú nejakú inú rolu medzi sebou?
No, they're completely equal.
Nie, sú absolútne rovní.
Verse 28 specifically says it,
Zvlášť 28. verš.
that both are to be fruitful and multiply
Obaja sa majú množiť
and bring the earth under their dominion,
a priviesť svet pod ich vládu.
and also the living creatures, the animals.
A tiež všetky živé bytosti.
That was the job of Adam and Eve.
To bola ich úloha.
And then we read Adventist Home, page 25,
Potom si čítame Adventný domov 25,
paragraph 3.
tretí paragraf.
Ellen White will comment here on the creation of Adam and Eve.
Ellen Whiteová tu komentuje na stvorenie Adama a Evy.
God himself gave Adam a companion.
Boh dal Adamovi spoločničku.
Question, what does a companion mean?
Čo to znamená spoločník?
Is a companion higher or lower than you?
Je to niekto, kto je od vás vyšší alebo nižší?
Is equal.
Je to rovné.
Here it says he provided a helpmate for him, a helper corresponding to him.
Tu sa píše, že on pre neho spravil pomocničku.
One who was fitted to be his companion
Tá, ktorá bola vhodná, aby mu bola spoločničkou
and who could be one with him in love and sympathy.
a ktorá by s ním mohla byť jedným v láske aj porozumení.
So Eve was the helpmate,
Eva bola pomocnička.
a helper.
Pomocnička.
I have a question.
Mám otázku.
A helper doesn't mean that you're lower than the other person.
Pomocník neznamená, že ste niečím menej ako ten druhý. That's a question? I thought it was a statement.
Oh, it's a question. I'm asking it.
Znamená to, že ste niečím menej?
No, it's equal.
Je to rovné.
Look what she says here further.
Pozrite sa, čo tu píše.
Eve was created from a rib taken from the side of Adam,
Eva bola vzatá z rebra zo strany Adama.
signifying that she was not to control him as the head,
Ukazujúc, že ona ho nemala kontrolovať ako hlava,
nor to be trampled under his feet as an inferior,
ani pošlapaná pod jeho nohami ako menej cenná,
but to stand by his side as an equal,
ale stať vedľa neho ako rovná,
to be loved and protected by him.
Aby bola milovaná a ochránená od neho.
I think that's enough.
Myslím, že to stačí.
So she gives even examples,
Takže ona dáva príklady.
and she says Eve was not created
A hovorí, že Eva nebola stvorená,
to be higher than men,
aby bola vyššia ako muž.
but she also was not created
Ale tiež nebola stvorená,
to be lower than men.
aby bola menej ako muž.
Or Adam, sorry. That means
To znamená,
both of these symbols are wrong.
že obidva tieto symboly sú nesprávne.
The reason why I'm drawing Eve in a dress is just for the sake of symbology, that I can distinguish the two.
Ja to dávam do šiat, aby sme ich vedeli rozoznať.
They were to be equal,
Mali byť rovní,
side to side,
jeden vedľa druhého,
having the same job.
Majú tú istú prácu.
There was no difference between them
Nebol medzi nimi rozdiel,
except for that they had physical differences.
okrem toho, že bol medzi nimi fyzický rozdiel.
So having, if we take it now in a symbolic prophetic way,
Ak to vezmeme prorockým spôsobom,
we already knew that the woman ruling the man is apostasy.
my už vieme, že keď žena vládne nad mužom, to je odpadnutie.
But the man ruling the woman is also apostasy.
A muž vládnuť nad ženou je tiež odpadnutie.
That is the situation of Eden.
Toto je situácia Edenu.
We're going back to Eden.
My ideme naspäť do Edenu.
Means we need to go back to this picture here.
My sa musíme vrátiť do tohto obrázku.
Not any picture this which was wrong.
Do žiadneho z týchto.
So I know the many Ellen White quotes
Poznám mnohé citáty od Ellen Whiteovej,
where she will say that the women are to subdue to their husbands.
kde ona píše, že ženy sa majú podvoliť mužovi.
But I'm asking you,
Pýtam sa,
what do you think should be our first point of reference
čo by mal byť náš prvá odvolávka,
when we look to Eden
keď zhľadáme k Edenu,
and how it will be?
a ako to bude.
It should be this time period
Malo by to byť toto obdobie,
and not after the fall.
a nie po páde.
So I suggest
Ja hovorím,
that when we look at this time period here,
že keď sa pozrieme na tento čas tu,
we'll take the quote where Ellen White says that they're equal and there's no difference.
zoberieme ten citát, kde Ellen Whiteová hovorí, že sú rovní a nie je medzi nimi rozdielu.
They are side by side
Sú jeden vedľa druhého
and they have the same job. There's no difference.
a majú tú istú úlohu, nie je rozdielu.
What means fall of men or the sin? Fall of man.
Bad would be P-A-D, that's fall. And sin, you want sin?
No, fall of man. That's okay.
Pád človeka.
So let's look at Genesis 3.
Poďme sa pozrieť na Genesis 3.
Now sin comes into play.
Teraz prišiel do hry hriech.
We're not going to go through it. We're just going to go through the results of sin now.
A prečítame, aký to malo výsledok.
Because God says now that you've sinned,
Boh hovorí, which verse?
I'm not there yet. I'm just still talking. You disobeyed my law.
Pán Boh hovorí, vy ste zrešili, neposlúchli ste môj zákon,
You didn't want my rules.
nechceli ste moje pravidlá,
Now you will have the rules of sin.
teraz budete mať pravidlá hriechu
You will have the results of sin.
a budete mať následky hriechu.
And now he's going to tell them.
A povie im,
Verse 16.
čítam 16. verš. Potom ešte povedal žene, veľmi rozmnožím tvoju bolesť a tvoje tehotenstvo. V bolesti budeš rodiť deti, tvoja túžba sa poniesie k tvojmu mužovi a on bude panovať nad tebou.
So the woman,
Žena,
what's the curse on the woman? What's the result?
aká je kliatba na ženu, aký je ten výsledok?
She has to bring forth children
Musí rodiť
with
deti
great pain,
v bolesti
and her desire shall be to the husband,
a jej túžba sa poniesie k mužovi
and he shall rule over thee.
a on bude nad ňou vládnuť.
So this is now the picture after the fall of man.
Čiže toto je obraz po páde.
This is how this relationship will look like now.
Takto to bude teraz vyzerať.
That's the result of sin.
To je dôsledok hriechu.
God never wanted this.
Boh toto nikdy nechcel.
God wanted this.
On chcel toto.
Now look for the men.
Pozrime sa na muža.
Verse 17
17. verš
till 19.
až 19. A Adamovi povedal, pretože si neposlúchol hlas svojej ženy a jedol si zo stromu, o ktorom som ti prikázal a riekol, nebudeš jesť z neho, zlorečená bude zem pre teba. S bolesťou budeš z nej jesť po všetky dni svojho života. Trnie a bodlač ti bude rodiť a budeš jesť polnú bylinu. V pote svojej tvári budeš jesť chlieb, až dokiaľ sa nenavrátiš do zeme, lebo z nej si vzatý, pretože si prach a do prachu sa navrátiš.
So now what has happened?
Teraz čo sa stalo?
Man has fallen,
Človek padol
and we see the curse for the women.
a vidíme tú kliatbu na ženu.
They will be lower than men.
Bude menej ako muž.
It's a result of sin.
To je výsledok hriechu.
What's the punishment for men?
Aký je dôsledok pre muža?
Men are to have hard work,
Muži musia tvrdo pracovať
and they're given the garden work.
a dostanú vlastne prácu na záhrade.
Can we see here a difference?
Vidíme tu rozdiel?
Here,
Tu
they have an equal job.
majú rovnocennú prácu.
Both are to work the same thing in Garden Eden.
Obidva majú rovnako pracovať v záhrade Eden.
Well, after the fall of man,
Po páde
now the job function splits.
sa delí tá ako keby pracovná rola.
Women do this,
Ženy robia toto,
men do this.
muži robia toto.
Can we see that?
Vidíte to?
And for those who take scripture as it is
Pre tých, ktorí berú písmo tak, ako je,
and are so strict with this relationship between a man and a woman,
a sú veľmi striktní v tomto vzťahu medzi mužom a ženou,
then I would ask yourself, then please ask yourself,
tak sa vás spýtam,
if you take scripture so letter to the law,
alebo spýtajte sa, ak beriete písmo tak doslovne,
then the verses we just read,
verše, ktoré sme práve čítali,
who was given the garden work?
kto dostal prácu na záhrade?
Was it Eve or Adam?
Bola to Eva alebo Adam?
Adam.
It was given to Adam,
Bolo to dané Adamovi.
meaning women should not even be doing gardening work.
Žena by nemala ani pracovať na záhrade.
It was not the work given to them, it was given the work to Adam.
Táto práca im nebola daná, bola daná Adamovi.
And then I ask myself,
Potom sa pýtam,
does Ellen G. White encourage gardening work?
podporuje len Whiteová, aby sme robili na záhrade?
Of course she does.
Samozrejme,
It's healthy to do so.
je to zdravé.
I'm just wanting to show here that we read scripture in a wrong way.
Len vám sa snažím ukázať, že čítame písmo nesprávnym spôsobom.
Sometimes we're so letter to the law and the next time we disregard it.
Niekedy sme tak strašne akože to berieme tak všetko do písmena a inokedy to zase úplne prehliadame.
We are focused on keeping this kind of relationship between a man and a wife.
Chceme
His wife,
dodržať tento typ vzťahu medzi mužom a ženou,
but the wife has to work outside in the garden,
ale žena musí robiť na záhrade.
even though that was the work given to the husband.
Aj keď to bolo dielo dané mužovi.
It doesn't make sense.
To nedáva zmysel.
So, let me see. Oh, like the question. So the reason I wanted to go there first, just to remind us a little bit,
Dôvod, prečo som chcela ísť najprv tam, aby som vám pripomenula,
and then we'll go to the questions.
a potom pôjdeme k otázkam.
The questions come now from chapter 5, I believe,
Prichádzajú otázky z 5. kapitoly,
where Paul speaks about the relationship between a husband and a wife.
kde Pavol hovorí o vzťahu medzi mužom a ženou.
And I first want to deal with the question,
Chcem sa najprv pozrieť na tú otázku,
where
v 5. kapitoly Efežanom má na mysli.
so Ephesians 5,
Efežanom 5,
verse 22, we see that wives are to submit
v 22. verši vidíme, že ženy sa majú podriadiť
to your husbands.
svojim mužom.
And where does it talk about the husbands?
Ephesians?
Ephesians 5, verse 22.
A Efežanom 5, 22. verš.
And then verse, yes, excuse me?
Should I read?
Yes.
Ženy, podriadujte sa vlastným mužom ako pánovi.
And then verse 25,
A vo verši 25
it talks about the husband's love for the wives.
píše to o mužovej láske pre ženu. A vy muži, milujte svoje ženy, ako aj Kristus miloval cirkev a vydal sám seba za ňu.
So basically, what is being said
Takže to, čo sa tu píše,
is women,
to sú ženy.
subdue yourself,
Podriadte sa,
that you are in the right order.
aby to bolo v poriadku.
So women down. And men,
A muži,
love your wife.
milujte svoje ženy.
So the question is,
Otázka je,
when we say women should go up again,
keď my hovoríme, že ženy by mali znova byť pozdvihnuté hore,
means that they're not lower anymore.
to znamená, že už nie sú zadúpané alebo menej.
They came up now.
Sú pozdvihnuté.
Should we not also,
Nemali by sme tiež,
so they're up, should we not also remove the husband's part?
tak potom by sme mali odstrániť aj tú časť, ktorá sa týka muža.
The wife's part was to subdue itself.
Úloha ženy bolo sa podriadiť
The husband part was to love his wife.
A mužová úloha bola milovať manželku.
If we remove this,
Ak odstraníme toto,
then we should remove this, right?
mali by sme odstrániť aj toto. Je to tak?
Is that correct?
Can you say it again?
Porovnání kontrast. What did she say?
Compare and contrast.
So she asked me to repeat it again. So in Ephesians 5 verse 22,
Efežanom 5:22
Paul tells the women that they need to subdue.
Pavol hovorí ženám, že sa musia podvoliť.
He says, women subdue.
Ženy sa podriadte.
It's like marriage counseling.
To je ako taká rada manželom.
He says, you subdue,
Vy sa,
everything will be fine.
vy sa podriadte,
That's your job.
to je vaša rola.
And your job is to love your wife.
A vaša rola je milovať svoje manželky.
So now with what we're teaching now,
A čo my učíme teraz?
equality,
Je rovnosť.
we're bringing up the woman
Prinášame ženu hore.
to equality.
Do stavu rovnosti.
They're on the same level.
Sú na rovnakej úrovni.
Which means we have removed the job of the woman.
Čo znamená, že sme ako keby zobrali tú rolu tej žene.
Would it not be also fair
Nebolo by to fér
to remove the work of the husband to love his wife?
zobrať aj tú rolu toho muža, že nemusíš milovať manželku?
What do you think, Ali? Is that correct?
Milovat se musíme.
Just smiling.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, ta láska je věčná.
Love is eternal.
Ta nepomíne. Třeba.
Přece to vztahu se učíme právě u Krista se chovat jeden druhému.
We learn at Christ's feet how to behave to one another.
What do you think? Is that correct?
I think if we wanted to be consistent, then we should do it like this.
So the problem is,
Problém je,
when we apply these rules,
keď aplikujeme tieto pravidlá,
then we could think we're consistent.
tak si myslíme, že takto to bude konzistentné.
We remove the job from the wife, so we are to remove the job from the husband.
Vlastne odnímeme to, čo bolo dané žene a odnímeme aj to, čo bolo dané mužovi.
But how do parables work?
Ale ako fungujú podobenstva?
Parable works because people have common sense
Preto, bo ľudia majú zdravý rozum.
and they use logic.
Používajú logiku.
That's why Christ uses parables like not some science fiction stuff.
Preto Kristus používa podobenstva nie ako science fiction,
He uses parables which actually are true.
ale také, ktoré sú skutočné.
A seed put in the earth will grow to a plant.
Napríklad semiačko dané do zeme vyrastie.
So when we use this as a parable,
Keď toto použijeme ako podobenstvo,
we apply the rules.
aplikovali sme tie pravidlá,
We also have to use our common sense.
musíme použiť aj zdravý rozum.
And do we really think that we should tell people that they should stop loving their spouse?
Naozaj by sme mali ľuďom povedať, že už nemajú milovať svojich partnerov,
When we know that the love is the very essence of everything.
keď vieme, že láska je podstatou všetkého.
So I think this question was unnecessary in that sense.
Myslím, že táto otázka nebola potrebná v tom
Because we
zmysle.
also have to use common sense.
Musíme používať aj zdravý rozum.
There was perfect love between Adam and Eve.
Medzi nimi bola dokonalá láska medzi Adamom a Evou,
So there should be complete love in between those two.
čiže aj tu by mala byť dokonalá láska medzi nimi.
Coming back to this model
Vracajúc sa k tomuto modelu,
means that they also have to love each other again.
to znamená, že sa musia milovať navzájom,
Just that they're equal on the equal level again.
ale sú si rovní znovu.
So I hope that answers that question.
Dúfam, že to odpoveda na otázku.
That in these things we also have to use common sense.
Musíme používať aj zdravý rozum.
And if you take love out, White says we're not even supposed to marry.
Ak tam nie je láska, Ellen White hovorí, že sa nesmiete ani brať.
No marriage should be started without love.
Žiadne manželstvo by nemalo začať bez lásky.
Coming to the next question,
Prichádzajúc k ďalšej otázke,
which I think is quite valid.
ktorá si myslím, že je validná.
And I'm honest, I don't have a full answer.
Nemám na ňu plnú odpoveď,
So I'm just sharing a thought.
čiže sa vám pozdielam o moju myšlienku.
And I'm sure that we are just at the beginning of understanding the issue of equality.
Som si istá, že sme iba na začiatku porozumenia tejto rovnosti.
So we are still in Ephesians 5.
Stále sme v Efežanov 5.
And Paul uses this symbol
Pavol používa tento symbol,
to demonstrate what kind of relationship.
Aby ukázal, aký vzťah.
Between whom?
Medzi kým?
Medzi Kristom a cirkvou.
Christ and the church.
Kristom a cirkvou.
So we have the church here.
Takže tu máme cirkev.
I'll just draw the church. So the church.
To je cirkev.
And this is Christ.
A toto je Kristus.
So the church is to subdue to Christ.
Cirkev sa má podriadiť Kristovi.
And Christ is loving the church.
Kristus miluje cirkev.
And I suggest this is correct.
A ja hovorím, že toto je správne.
So the question is just,
Otázka je,
with our message of equality,
s týmto posolstvom o rovnosti,
wouldn't that mean
neznamenalo by to,
now that the church would be equal with Christ?
že teraz cirkev je rovná s Kristom?
And I do not have an answer to this,
Na toto nemám odpoveď.
except for that I have one thought.
Okrem toho, že mám jednu myšlienku.
I'm going to try to find a quote.
Pokúsim sa nájsť ten citát.
It's in the Revelation, I know that.
Viem, že je to v Zjavení.
It's Revelation 3 verse 21.
Zjavenie 3:21.
Revelation 3:21, where here God talks to the what do you call that? The church Laodicea.
Tu hovorí Boh v Laodicei. Tomu, kto zvíťazí, dám sedieť so sebou na svojom tróne, ako som ja zvíťazil a sedím so svojím otcom na jeho tróne.
So Christ
Kristus
has a throne.
má trón.
This is the throne now.
Toto je on.
And those who overcome,
Tí, ktorí zvíťazia,
this is the throne.
to je trón.
Those who will, here Christ sits.
Tu Kristus sedí
Christ sits on this throne.
na tróne.
Who's Christ?
To je Kristus.
He's God,
Je
right?
to Boh.
He's the creator of the universe.
On je tvorca vesmíru.
He's our redeemer.
On je náš spasiteľ.
There's no one like him, right?
Nie takého, aký je on.
Am I right?
Je to tak?
What means God?
B-O-H.
Like this?
Yes.
B or P?
B-O-H.
Thank you. So, when Christ now says, those who overcome,
Teraz, keď Kristus hovorí, tí, ktorí zvíťazia,
where will they sit?
kde budú sedieť?
S Kristom na tróne.
On the same throne.
Na tom istom tróne.
On what throne does Christ sit?
Na akom tróne sedí Kristus?
The same throne as his Father.
Na rovnakom ako jeho otec.
So that means we will sit on the same throne
To znamená, že budeme sedieť na tom istom
with
tróne.
Christ and God himself.
Kristom aj s Bohom.
I have one question.
Otázka?
Is that equality?
Je to rovnosť?
Sort of, yes.
Áno, nejako?
But are we a redeemer?
Sme my záchrancom?
Are we God?
Sme Bohom?
Are we a creator?
Sme tvorcom?
No.
Nie.
So that means we're not equal.
To znamená, že nie sme rovní.
So at this point, I can't answer Ephesians 5.
Čiže v tomto bode a s týmto porovnaním neviem zodpovedať otázku z Efežanom 5.
How this relationship between Christ and the church works.
Ako funguje tento vzťah medzi Kristom a cirkvou?
But I know one thing,
Ale viem jednu vec.
that here in Revelation 3,
Tu v Zjavení 3
we're being taught to sit on the same throne as Christ,
sa píše, že budeme sedieť na tom istom tróne ako Kristus.
which means equality,
To znamená rovnosť.
yet we're not God.
Ale zároveň nie sme Bohom.
And we're not a creator and a redeemer.
A nie sme spasiteľom ani stvoriteľom.
We're not the same.
Nie sme to isté.
And I suggest that we take the same principle and apply it to Ephesians 5.
A rovnaký princíp musíme aplikovať na Efežanov 5.
Even though we teach that there is complete unity between a man and a woman,
Aj keď učíme unity or equality.
equality, thank you,
Aj keď učíme, že medzi mužom a ženou je absolútna rovnosť,
between the wife and husband,
medzi manželkou a manželom,
it doesn't mean that the church has to be equal with Christ.
neznamená to, že cirkev musí byť rovná s Kristom.
There can still be a difference,
Tam stále ešte je rozdiel.
just like in this parable here.
Tak ako aj v tomto podobenstve.
Does that make sense?
Dáva to zmysel?
Yes? So, often it depends when we apply methodology
Častokrát, keď aplikujeme metodológiu,
that we do not turn off our brains, our logic, our reasoning.
nevypneme náš vlastný rozum alebo naše vlastné zdôvodňovanie,
That should be a rule as well.
to by sme mali robiť tiež.
And there was one more question.
Ešte bola jedna otázka.
The question was how to apply quality submission in homes where only one person is in a message.
Ako aplikovať túto tému v domovoch, kde len jeden človek je v posolstve?
So I'm not sure if I can answer that
Nie som si istá, či môžem na toto odpovedať.
because I'm not in that
Nie
situation.
som v tej situácii.
Firstly, I feel very sorry for these brethren
Za prvé, je mi týchto bratov a sestry veľmi ľúto.
because I consider it one of the most hurtful things
Podľa mňa je to jedna z najbolestivejších vecí.
if people who love each other do not share the same faith.
Ak ľudia, ktorí sa milujú, nemôžu mať rovnakú vieru.
But I suggest, I don't know what to suggest, but I suggest that people go into prayer and ask the Lord what to do.
Ja vám môžem len povedať, modlite sa, pýtajte sa Pána, ako ďalej.
Because I think in situations like this,
Myslím si, že v situáciách, ako sú tieto,
where one partner is in the faith and the other is not,
kde jeden je vo viere a druhý nie,
you cannot make a general rule on how to behave.
nemôžete urobiť všeobecnú radu, ako sa chovať.
Reason being is because every couple and every person is different.
Každá dvojica je iná.
So every case needs to be considered itself.
Takže každý prípad musí byť zvážený samostatne.
But in general, I would suggest to have a deep communion with the Lord about that situation
Ale všeobecne by som odporúčala mať hlboký vzťah s Bohom o tej danej situácii.
and have much patience with your partner.
A mať veľa trpezlivosti so svojím partnerom.
Often partners create a union between them
Častokrát partneri medzi sebou urobia jednotu alebo jednotu.
when they share the same beliefs, and afterwards
Keď majú rovnaký názor na život, rovnakú vieru,
one partner becomes Adventist or joins this movement.
ale potom, keď sa niekto stane adventistom alebo súčasťou tohto hnutia,
And it's really hard also on the other partner
je to veľmi ťažké aj pre toho druhého partnera,
who's married you
ktorý si vás zobral
and then has to see that you go a different direction faith-wise.
a zrazu vidí, že idete iným smerom.
So it's hard on both parties.
Pre obidve strany je to veľmi ťažké.
So I would suggest to have a lot of compassion and patience.
Čiže ja by som navrhla, majte veľmi veľa trpezlivosti, strpenia a
But further, I would also like to suggest
chcela by som aj navrhnúť,
that we are rather to obey God than men.
že je lepšie poslúchať človeka ako Boha.
And I hope that everyone sees that this present truth message we are having
A dúfam, že každý vidí, že toto posolstvo prítomnej pravdy, ktoré máme,
is about life and death.
je na život a na smrť.
And we know that communion with like-minded brethren
A my vieme, že spoločenstvo s bratmi, ktorí majú rovnakú vieru,
sharing this message, conversing,
zdieľajúca toto posolstvo, rozprávať sa,
is essential for our spiritual growth.
je pre náš rast veľmi potrebný.
So many people are in the situation that their partner
Mnoho ľudí je v situácii, že ich partner
for example, doesn't want that they go to church on Sabbath.
napríklad nechcú, aby išli do zboru v sobotu.
If one partner is non-SDA and the other is SDA.
Keď jeden je z cirkvi, druhý nie je z cirkvi.
And often these brethren who are firm on the Sabbath
A častokrát títo bratia, ktorí sú pevní v sobote,
will also be firm on obeying it and go to church if the partner wants it or not.
budú aj pevní v tom, aby išli do zboru, či ten druhý to chce alebo nie.
Because they're convicted this is the right thing to do.
Lebo sú usvedčení, že toto je tá správna vec.
And I suggest it's the same thing about present truth meetings.
A ja myslím, že to isté sa týka stretnutia prítomnej pravdy.
If you're convicted this is the truth,
Ak ste usvedčení, že toto je pravda,
then I would suggest you handle it the same way as you would handle the Sabbath issue.
tak vám to navrhujem, aby ste sa k tomu zachovali rovnakým spôsobom, ako aj ohľadne soboty.
That you put God before men.
Že dáte Boha pred človeka.
I hope that gives at least a little input.
Dúfam, že aspoň trošku to zodpovedá.
What do you think? Okay.
I don't know if you were going to answer also with the pants. There was a question what the pants wearing is about. I don't know.
Yes, I think I did that already, but I
Okay.
can mention it here. So,
Because you told me it's not only about equality, it's too.
Will you translate?
Čiže ešte tam bola jedna otázka, že vlastne o čom je to nosenie nohavíc, vlastne o čom to je, alebo na čo je to.
So, for many years, this movement was convicted
Mnoho rokov toto hnutie bolo presvedčené,
that for women to wear pants, wear skirts would be the correct thing.
že to bolo správne, aby ženy nosili sukne.
But recently,
Ale nedávno
we came to the conviction that women could also wear pants.
sme prišli k záveru, že ženy môžu nosiť aj nohavice.
And by them doing so, it is not sin.
A tým, že to robia, to nie je hriech.
And I suggest reason for this is two things.
A sú na to dva dôvody.
Firstly, or one is methodology,
Za prvé je to metodológia.
because when we go to Paul and who quotes Moses,
Keď ideme k Pavlovi, ktorý cituje Mojžiša
and he says a man and women should not wear the same clothes,
a hovoria, že žena a muž by nemali nosiť to isté oblečenie,
we took that as a proof text to say men are supposed to wear pants and women skirts.
berieme to ako proof text na to, že ženy, alebo dôkaz textom, že ženy majú nosiť sukne.
But as we learned this week,
Ale ako sme sa naučili tento týždeň,
we are to consider time and circumstances.
musíme zvážiť čas a okolnosti.
And in Paul's as well as Moses' time period,
V čase Pavla aj Mojžiša
men were not wearing pants,
muži nenosili nohavice,
but women and men were both wearing dresses.
obaja nosili také šaty, také rucha.
So we can see that this verse
Takže vidíme, že tento verš
will not uphold
nemôže vlastne podporiť
the statement that women are to wear skirts and men pants.
Výrok, že ženy majú nosiť sukne a muži nohavice.
This argument is not valid anymore.
Toto už nie je platný argument.
So women can wear just as much pants as men can.
Ženy môžu nosiť nohavice takisto ako muži.
The principles are modesty
Princípy sú skromnosť,
and practicality.
praktičnosť a zdravie.
And if those are kept, wearing pants is no sin.
Ak tieto sa držia, tak nosenie nohavíc nie je hriechom.
As well,
A tiež tak aj
wearing pants
nosenie nohavíc
is becoming a symbol at the moment
v tejto chvíli sa stáva symbolom
that men and women are equal.
toho, že muž a žena sú si rovní.
I'll put this into pants. So, if a woman, or in this movement, as we for many years have worn skirts,
V tomto hnutí sme mnoho rokov nosili sukne.
so to subdue, to demonstrate that we've subdued to our husbands,
Aj sa ukázať to, že sme sa podvolili mužom.
I suggest right now pants are becoming the symbol that there's equality between men and women.
Nohavice sa stávajú symbolom toho, že medzi mužom a ženou je rovnosť.
So if women do not feel comfortable with pants,
Ak sa ženy necítia dobre v nohaviciach,
because some just don't,
Niektoré to tak sa necítia.
They have the free choice to wear whatever they want
Majú
to.
slobodnú voľu nosiť, čo chcú.
No one has to wear pants in that sense.
Nikto nie je nutený, aby nosil nohavice.
However, we understand that a prophetic message
Ale rozumieme, že prorocké posolstvo
puts a test in front of us,
pred nás dáva skúšku
and we demonstrate by our actions
a našimi skutkami ukazujeme,
if we live up to that light.
že žijeme podľa toho svetla.
And it would be good for you to just wear for a single day pants to demonstrate that you live up to that light.
A bolo by dobré, aj keď len jeden deň si dať nohavice, aby ste ukázali, že žijete v tom svetle.
For those women who just want to wear skirts.
Pre tých, ktoré chcú nosiť nohavice,
So-
sukne.
So the pants have just become a symbol.
Takže nohavice sa stali symbolom.
It's not that we literally have to wear pants now,
To neznamená, že musíme teraz nosiť nohavice,
otherwise we're lost.
inak budeme stratení.
It's rather giving women the freedom and choice to do what they want.
Ale ženy majú slobodu robiť to, čo chcú.
Is that good enough?
Mhm.
So we have one more subject,
Máme ešte jednu tému,
which is the subject of the son-in-law.
a to je téma nedeľného zákona.
And I think the last time I was here,
Myslím, že naposledy, keď som tu bola,
we already talked a little bit about this.
už sme o tom hovorili.
A son-in-law is what?
Nedeľný zákon je čo?
What is a son-in-law?
Čo je to nedeľný zákon?
Spojení cirkve a státu.
Connection of church and state.
Yes, the son-in-law is the combination or the union of church and state,
Je to spojenie cirkvi a štátu.
but what entity is in control?
A kto to, ako keby, kto tam vládne?
Žena.
Cirkev.
The woman will be in control of the relationship.
Žena vládne v tom vzťahu.
We already said this is bad,
Čiže hovorila som, že toto je zlé.
just as the other way around would be bad as well.
Tak ako aj naopak je to zlé.
So, however, a woman
Žena
is a church.
Je cirkev.
So that means we have a church
To znamená, že máme cirkev,
tell the state
ktorá hovorí štátu,
what to do.
čo má robiť.
So here's our state,
Takže tu je náš štát
and here's our church.
a naša cirkev.
And the church will tell the state what to do.
A cirkev povie štátu, čo má robiť.
And this marriage
A toto manželstvo
is the union between church and state.
je spojenie medzi cirkvou a štátom
And out of this union,
a z tohto spojenia
they will demonstrate it.
to preukážu.
I think the last time we called it, they will have little children.
Myslím, že naposledy som to pomenovala, že budú mať medzi sebou svoje deti.
And one of these children we can call son-in-law.
A jedno z týchto detí môžeme nazvať nedeľný zákon.
But is a son-in-law
Ale je nedeľný zákon
a law where it's about Sunday and Sabbath issue?
Zákon, ktorý je o sobote a nedeli.
Is that the only way how this church-state union
Je toto jediný spôsob, ako toto spojenie cirkvi a štátu
could be demonstrated?
sa môže ukázať?
No.
Nie.
Men and women, man and husband, a married couple
Zosobášení ľudia
can have many children.
môže mať mnoho ľudí.
What if the church
Čo ak cirkev
tells the state
povie štátu,
that they want an abortion law?
že chcú zákon proti potratom?
What if the church tells the state
Čo ak cirkev povie štátu,
that they don't want gay marriages?
že nechcú homosexuálne manželstva,
That they want just a traditional marriage between a man and a woman?
že chcú len tradičné manželstvo.
What if the church tells the state
Čo ak cirkev povie štátu,
that they want, that they are against climate control?
že oni sú proti zasahovaniu, proti tým klimatickým zmenám.
Give me some others. Thinking right now about... What if the church
Čo ak cirkev povie štátu,
wants to tell the state that we are a Christian nation.
že my sme kresťanský národ a chcú to zlegalizovať.
In God we trust.
V Boha veríme.
So I want you to see with this picture
Chcem, aby ste videli s týmto obrázkom,
that the relationship between the church and the state, when the church controls,
že vzťah medzi cirkvou a štátom, keď cirkev vlastne to má pod kontrolou,
can be represented in so many ways.
môže byť reprezentovaný toľkými spôsobmi.
Sunday is only one option
Nedeľa je len jeden z toho spôsobov.
of so many different options.
Z toľkých rôznych spôsobov.
The Christian far right in America,
Kresťanská pravica v Amerike,
apostate Protestantism,
odpadnutý protestantizmus,
has a long list of agenda things.
majú veľmi dlhý zoznam tej svojej agendy.
And they will force any single one on the state.
A prinútia každého v štáte,
Because the state, more and more,
lebo ten štát viac a viac
is like warm wax in the hand of the apostate church.
je ako taký teplý vosk v rukách odpadlej cirkvi.
And the church will make the state do anything the church wants.
A cirkev môže prinútiť ten štát robiť čokoľvek ona chce.
But it is foolish to think
Je to bláznivé
that here at the end of the world,
si myslieť, že na konci sveta,
that the only agenda the church has, that people will keep Sunday.
že jedinú agendu, ktorú oni majú, je, aby ľudia dodržiavali sobotu,
In fact,
nedelu.
I think this is the least problem.
Myslím, že toto je najmenší problém.
I think all the others I just listed
Všetky ostatné, ktoré som teraz
are
vymenovala,
far up higher on the list of agenda for the apostate Protestantism in America.
sú oveľa vyššie, ako keby v tej agende odpadlého protestantizmu.
So we already talked about that.
Už sme o tom hovorili.
When we put the prophet and his writings in our day,
Keď dáme proroka a jeho písmo do našich dní,
we are first to consider his time period.
musíme najprv zvážiť jeho dobu.
So when Ellen White talks about the Sunday law,
Keď Ellen Whiteová hovorí o nedeľnom zákone,
firstly we have to consider her time period,
musíme najprv zvážiť jej dobu
and we see that the issue was Sunday law.
a vidíme, že ten problém bol nedeľný zákon.
And we said that we have to take these stories of the prophets before us
A povedali sme, že musíme zobrať tieto príbehy prorokov, ktorí boli pred nami,
as a symbol into our time,
ako symbol do našej doby.
which means the Sunday law now becomes a symbol
To znamená, že nedeľný zákon sa stane
and
symbolom
not a literal law about Sunday in Congress.
a nie doslovným zákonom o nedeľných v kongrese.
This proves where we again once more lacked on applying methodology.
Toto sa ukáže, ak aplikujeme metodológiu.
So the Sunday law becomes the symbol
Nedeľný zákon sa stáva symbolom
of this union of church and state,
spojenia cirkvi a štátu.
which was prevented in 1888 and 1893.
A tomu bolo zabranené v 1888 a 93.
But it doesn't mean that what was on the agenda back then
Ale to neznamená, že to, čo bolo na agende vtedy,
has the same priority now on the agenda of the apostate Protestantism today.
má teraz rovnakú prioritu na agende toho odpadlého protestantizmu.
So the Sunday law,
Nedeľný zákon,
which we're all waiting for since 160 years,
na ktorý všetci čakáme už 160 rokov,
as an Adventist church,
ako cirkev adventistov,
might not happen in the way we always thought it would happen.
sa možno nestane spôsobom, akým sme si vždy mysleli, že sa stane.
In fact, I think it will not happen that way.
Dokonca si myslím, že sa tak ani nestane.
I pull a thought again, an argument,
Znova vyťahnem argument,
that Satan would be foolish
že Satan by bol bláznivý,
to bring something about
keby niečo priniesol
and why the prophet has already since 160 years warned us from.
O čom nás Ellen Whiteová už 160 rokov dozadu varuje.
Just the same argument like with the dead people.
Rovnaký argument ako aj s tými mŕtvými.
What do you think? How is he going to deceive Adventism?
Ako si myslíte, že zvedie adventizmus?
If we just have to open a book and Satan will be busted.
Keď my si musíme len otvoriť knihu a Satan by bol nachytaný na hruškách.
Satan knows that he has to disguise himself as a sheep.
Satan vie, že sa musí skryť a vyzerať ako ovca.
Means that he will look good to Adventism.
Čiže pre adventizmus bude vyzerať dobre.
So when this test of the Sunday law will come on us,
Keď táto skúška nedeľného zákona na nás príde,
the union of church and state,
spojenie cirkvi a štátu,
it will look good to us.
nám to bude vyzerať dobre.
Does it look good to us
Vyzerá nám to dobre?
when we forbid gay people to get married?
Keď zakážeme homosexuálom, aby sa ženili.
Morally, yes it does.
Morálne áno, vyzerá.
Does it look good to us
Vyzerá nám to dobre?
when the state will pass a law forbidding abortion?
Keď štát vydá zákon proti potratom.
Morally, it looks good to us.
Morálne nám to vyzerá dobre.
Does it look good to us
Vyzerá nám to dobre,
if the state passes laws
ak štát pustí zákony,
which forbid Islamic or Buddhism to spread,
ktoré zakážu, aby sa šíril buddhizmus alebo islamizmus
and trying to uphold Christianity within the country,
a v rámci krajiny sa snažia udržať kresťanstvo
and try to emphasize in God we trust.
a snažia sa vlastne potvrdiť, že Boha veríme.
It looks good to us because we trust in God as well.
Vyzerá to dobre, lebo aj my v Boha veríme.
Those are things
Toto sú veci,
in which Satan is disguising himself.
v ktorých Satan sám seba zakrýva alebo sa preobliekava.
And Adventism is failing the test
A adventizmus vlastne zlyháva v tejto skúške,
because they don't see that behind the facade,
lebo nevidia, že za touto fasádou
that these issues are forcing or are the bringing together of union and bringing together of church and state.
spájajú cirkev a štát.
Does that answer the question? Or should I go further?
So my question was if we don't believe that we will never see Sunday Sabbath issue in our time. That we believe it will never become an issue.
Okay, will you translate the question?
Čiže moja otázka je, že či vlastne my neveríme už vôbec, že sa to niekedy stane problémom v tej našej dobe, tá sobota a nedeľa.
So the fractal for the priest
Fraktál kňazov
ends in latest 2021.
končí 2021.
But we know that this is only the midnight cry,
Vieme, že toto je len polnočné volanie.
and we still have the waymark, which we call Samuel,
Ešte máme milník, ktorý nazývame nedeľný zákon.
Daniel 11 verse 41.
A potom Daniel, to je Daniel 11.41.
Then we have the close of probation,
A potom záver milosti.
7 plagues,
7 rán
and Christ coming.
a príchod Krista.
We're here.
Sme tu.
It's still quite a long way till this waymark.
Ešte je to dosť ďaleko po tento milník.
2018,
2018
Lord gave us light about this waymark.
nám Pán dal svetlo o tomto milníku.
As we progress,
Ako ideme ďalej,
we're a person walking on this path,
my sme ako človek idúci na tejto ceste
and we do have a flashlight in our hands.
a máme v našej ruke baterku
And when you walk in the dark,
a keď ideme po tme,
where do you point the flashlight?
kam dávame tú baterku?
Right in front of you.
Pred nás.
Otherwise, you would not see the stone which is right in front of you, and you would stumble
Ináč by sme spadli, by sme sa potkli na nejakom kameni.
and fall. So that means
To znamená,
when you have this flashlight,
keď máte túto baterku,
it points or enlightens the path right in front of you.
osvecuje to tú cestu pred nami.
And you will see a little bit in the distance,
V diaľke trošku uvidíte,
but it's only as you walk
ale je to len, ak budete kráčať,
that the distance becomes more clear
že tá vzdialenosť sa trošičku ujasní
and you see further in the distance.
a vidíte ďalej.
So I'm saying the same is about these truths for these waymarks.
Ja hovorím, to isté je to s pravdami pre tieto milníky.
We're just here.
My sme tu,
We already have light for some of these waymarks, but they're still in the distance.
my už máme svetlo pre niektoré tieto milníky.
We still have to pass over the ground.
Stále musíme ešte vlastne prejsť cez tie dejiny.
And Ellen White says, as they passed over the ground, prophecies were unfold.
A Ellen White hovorí, ako budú prechádzať tie dejiny, tak tie proroctvá sa odbalia.
So when we will continue to walk here, which we will,
Keď tu budeme pokračovať a budeme kráčať,
we will see more of what is going on in this time period,
uvidíme viac o tom, čo sa deje v tomto čase.
what this waymark will look like,
Ako vyzerá tento
and
milník,
this one, and so on.
aj tento a tak ďalej.
So, speaking about the Sunday law, the question we had,
Hovoriac o nedeľnom zákone a otázka, ktorú sme mali,
almost for certainty, I will say this is not going to be about the Sabbath and Sunday issue.
takmer na istotu poviem, že toto nebude o sobote a nedeli.
When you ask the question now, will it ever be about Sabbath Sunday?
Ale keď sa spýtate otázku, bude vôbec niekedy sobota, nedela ako v hre?
I cannot give an answer
Ja neviem,
because there's still too much to unfold.
lebo ešte je tu príliš veľa, ktoré sa musí rozbaliť.
So I simply don't know.
Takže neviem.
But I want to give one thought.
Ale chcem dať myšlienku.
In Isaiah 28,
Izaiášovi 28.
we know that it talks about the Adventist church.
Vieme, že sa tam píše o cirkvi adventistov.
And in the later verses of that chapter,
A v neskorších veršoch tej kapitoly
it speaks about how the leaders of the nation enter into a covenant with death.
sa píše, ako Izrael vstúpil do zmluvy so smrťou.
Paralleling that in our time,
A v paralele v našom čase
we know that Adventism will enter into a covenant with death.
vieme, že adventizmus vstúpi do zmluvy so smrťou.
And I suggest this year is the death. This
A ja
year.
hovorím, že toto tu je tá smrť.
So, my suggestion is,
Môj návrh je,
when this covenant is happening,
keď sa deje táto zmluva,
they will agree to things,
budú súhlasiť s vecami,
and just in order to be safe.
len
To try
preto,
to
aby
save
zostali v
themselves.
bezpečí.
And I suggest that the agenda
A ja hovorím, že tá agenda
of the Christian far right
kresťanskej pravice
looks very similar
vyzerá veľmi podobne
to conservative Adventism.
konzervatívnemu adventizmu.
A faithful Christian,
Verní kresťania,
a good true Christian.
dobrí skutoční kresťania.
And I could see
Vidím,
how Seventh-day Adventism buys into the agenda
ako adventizmus príjma túto agendu
of the far Christian right in America.
kresťanskej pravice v Amerike.
And I could also see
Tiež vidím,
that the far right says,
že tá pravica hovorí,
okay, you're against abortion, you're against gay people and transgender,
hovorí, že dobre, vy ste proti potratom, proti transgender, proti...
and you're hitting a lot of our points on the list.
A v podstate
you're checking
s
off.
mnohými vecami na našom zozname sme akože v súhlase.
You can keep your Sabbath, that's fine.
Tak dodržujte si sobotu, však v poriadku.
Because we know you're faithful Christians, you go to church and you do all
Vieme,
the
že ste
things.
verní kresťania, robíte všetko, čo treba.
I could see this happening.
Vidím, že toto sa deje.
Why?
Prečo?
Do we really think
Naozaj si myslíme,
that America
že Amerika
will force the entire world,
prinúti celý svet,
all Islamic people,
všetkých islamistov,
who are the second or third largest religion,
ktorí sú druhé alebo tretie najväčšie náboženstvo,
to stop keeping their Friday
aby prestali držať
and start keeping
piatok
the Sunday?
a začali dodržiavať nedelu.
Do we force
Prinútime
all the Hindus and Sikhs and Buddhists
hinduistov a buddhistov,
to give up their religion just that they keep a Christian Sunday?
aby sa vzdali ich náboženstvom preto, aby dodržiavali nedelu?
This is not what is happening in India.
To sa nedie v Indii.
And India is very far into populism, just like America is right now.
V Indii je veľmi silný populizmus, tak ako aj teraz v Amerike.
Do we really think a president,
Naozaj si myslíme, že
who
prezident,
we say is the last president,
o ktorom hovoríme, že je posledný,
whose daughter is a Jew and his son-in-law as well,
ktorého dcera je židovka a takisto aj jeho zať.
Which means they are convicted to keep the Sabbath.
Čiže sú usvedčení držať sobotu.
Do we really think that he will force his own family to keep a Sunday?
Naozaj si myslíme, že bude nútiť svoju rodinu, aby držali nedelu?
I'm not so sure of this.
Nie som si taká istá.
So I would rather focus on these other things,
Radšej by som sa zamerala na tieto ďalšie veci,
which are on the agenda of the far Christian right,
ktoré sú na agende kresťanskej pravice.
and not so much focus on Sunday Sabbath issues,
A nie tak sa zameriavať na sobotu a nedelu.
because it will not come, at least not for a longer time period.
Lebo dlhší čas to určite nepríde
And
zatiaľ.
it definitely will not come the way as Adventism thought it would come for the last 160
A
years.
určite to nepríde spôsobom, aký adventizmus očakáva už 160 rokov.
And I think what does Ellen White says, what does Ellen White say is the great test for God's people, the Adventist church.
Čo hovorí Ellen Whiteová? Čo je tá najväčšia skúška pre adventnú cirkev? Image of the beast.
It's the image of the beast.
Je to obraz šelmy.
And the image of the beast is what?
A to je čo?
The coming together of church and
Spájanie
state.
cirkvi a štátu.
And we're seeing 18 million people
A my vidíme, že 18 miliónov ľudí
are missing out on this test.
vôbec nevidí túto skúšku.
Because all they focus on is a national Sunday law.
Jediné, na čo sa zameriavajú, je na národný nedeľný zákon.
And they don't see what is happening all around it.
A nevidia, čo sa deje okolo toho.
And see how this church and union has already come together since 2014.
A nevidia, ako sa toto spojenie cirkvi a štátu už deje od 2014 or 13?
14.
Od 2014.
And since then, it is just manifesting more and more and coming stronger together.
Odtedy sa to preukazuje viac a viac.
So, I hope that was sort of clear. At least that's as much as I can give about the subject, if it will ever be about Sunday Sabbath.
Toto je všetko, čo máme povedať k tomu, či to vôbec niekedy bude o sobote a nedeli.
You want to give a summary?
Môžem to zhrnúť?
To nemyslíš vážne?
You must be kidding.
No. Are there any questions or thoughts?
I have only one comment about what you last said. I don't think it's a proper argument to say that do we really think that Trump will do so and so because he has someone, like if we should have more prophetic arguments to say that something will be the way it will be, not like because he has a daughter or because of his son people. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get your argument about prophecy that we need more the lines to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, this was already done.
Okay.
You can translate on
Ja som hovorila, že mne to príde taký neprorocký argument vlastne hovoriť, že naozaj si myslíme, že islamisti hento a toto a že Trump, že má v rodine Židov, že na to, aby sme mohli takéto robiť prehlásenia, aby sme mali mať viac prorockých argumentov. A on hovorí, že áno, ale myslím si, že tie sme už dali.
So I'm using Trump and his daughter not as a primary source, it's just an additional information.
Ja to nepoužívam ako nejaký primárny zdroj, len ako dodatočnú informáciu.
Should we close?
Môžeme to uzavrieť?
Dear Father in heaven,
Drahý nebeský Otče,
thank you for this day
ďakujeme Ti za tento deň
and all the time we were able to spend together.
aj všetok čas, ktorý sme mohli spolu tráviť.
Lord, we're seeing that we're in this great test for your people,
Vidíme, že sme v tejto veľkej skúške pre Tvojich ľudí
and we are seeing how church and state are coming together.
a vidíme, ako sa spája cirkev a štát.
Lord, we thank you that you opened our eyes,
Ďakujeme, že si nám otvoril oči
that we can see.
a že môžeme vidieť.
Lord, help us to see even more and understand better.
Prosíme, pomôž nám vidieť ešte viac a lepšie porozumieť.
And warn our brethren who are sleeping.
A varovať našich spiacich bratov.
Lord, we also ask you,
Pane, tiež ťa prosíme
Lord, we also thank you
a ďakujeme Ti
for this beautiful message of equality,
za toto krásne posolstvo o rovnosti,
that you want to completely and totally restore Eden.
že Ty chceš úplne obnoviť Eden.
And we ask you that you help us,
Ťa prosíme, aby si nám
that
pomohol,
we live up to all these new truths you are giving us,
aby sme žili podľa týchto práv, ktoré nám dávaš.
and that we become fully fit
aby sme boli urobení vhodnými
to one more time live in Eden
znova žiť v Edene
and experience complete and full happiness,
a prežívať úplné šťastie
living under your laws.
pod tvojimi zákonmi.
In Jesus' name, thank you.
V mene Ježiša ti ďakujeme.
Amen. One thing I forgot to say,
Zabudla som povedať,
which I emphasized here,
to, čo som zdôrazňovala tu,
is that Adam and Eve were given no different job. They had the same job.
Adam a Eva mali rovnakú prácu, rovnakú rolu.
But I didn't write the application here.
Okay.
So the application here, I think it's another witness.
Tá aplikácia tu je ďalší svedok,
It's not the witness, but it's another witness
ďalší svedok,
that men and women can do the equal work here.
že žena a muž môžu robiť rovnakú prácu tu.
Which I think speaks to women's ordination.
A myslím, že to hovorí o ordinácii žien.
That if a woman is fit for that work as to be an elder,
Ak žena je vlastne vhodná na to dielo, aby bola staršou,
then she can do the same job as a man.
môže to zvládnuť rovnako dobre ako muž.
Just as Adam and Eve had the same job to have dominion.
Tak ako aj Adam a Eva mali rovnakú rolu vlastne vládnuť.
That was just a little note.
To len taká malá poznámka ešte k tomu.